what is the difference between analytics and visualization? So analytics is when we uh, can everyone hear me? Is there some problem? Am I audible? Perfect. So I was saying that analytics is when we are trying to get some information from the data just based on reports. We are collecting the data, then we are analyzing the data, let's say in SQL or Excel, and then we are creating some reports. And this can be even a pivot table or some basic information that we are seeing from the table that we have created. And then visualization is when we try to display it based on using some charts or graphs, right? The way you saw in Power BI. I think Power BI and Tableau are extremely common. Many companies use these tools. Then for data analytics, what are the tools that we use? MySQL is common. R and I think Python is the most common one. Then MATLAB is there. Excel and Google Sheets is again very common. Then MongoDB is also there. So these are tools that you can use for data analytics. Now, enough of data analytics. There is something called product analytics. So let's say, let's take the example of Netflix, right? You want to know what is the average time for which a viewer is viewing, some movie. Or let's say, what is the average time spent by users on Netflix, on the app, or on the website. So those kinds of metrics, those kinds of questions will be answered only through tools like Metabase, Amplitude, Indicative, Google Analytics. So is mostly for websites and apps, right? So Google Analytics is a good example for metrics. I've already given you a brief idea of Google Analytics. Then Metabase, Amplitude, Indicative, we'll not be covering these, but these are again very widely used. Now, in one of my internships at OYO Rooms, I used Metabase frequently. And again, in a product management internship at Hyperverge, which is a fintech firm, I again used Metabase very frequently because we are trying to understand the usage of a product, right? Let's talk about WhatsApp. WhatsApp is very commonly used. How many apps, how many chats on average does a user open on a daily basis, right? Those kinds of answers we can get through product analytics. Or let's say, what is the average time spent by user on WhatsApp? What is the total number of messages that is spent by user on WhatsApp per day, right? Or per hour, per minute, whatever. These kinds of questions which are related to a product, either it is a software product or, mostly we talk about software products only. So questions that are revolving around products, software products, which can be apps, websites, platforms, portals, whatever. So those kinds of answers we get through product analytics. I wanted to touch upon this because this is getting a lot of importance nowadays, and people are really exploring this as a field, as a separate field. So this is a bit different from data analytics because this is I think a subset of data analytics, and this is mostly around mostly product analysts do this work, or even product managers, right? Okay, then we move to data analytics, types of data analytics. I've not covered this before. So we have 4 types of data analytics. First is descriptive analytics. We are trying to describe what actually happened, or what is, let's say I have this startups data set, right? The name of the company and all that stuff. We were working on this startups data set. So let's say I have that data set, and I want to display I just want to display the trend within the data set. Whatever I made on Power BI, that was descriptive analytics. Then we can, second type is diagnostic analytics. In this case, we can look at time series models. I think some math students might have heard this. This is time series modeling is used in quant roles also in companies like JP Morgan and all. So this is diagnostic analytics. Why did this happen? And I mean, we are trying to diagnose, we are trying to get the reason of why this is happening. And then diagnostic is, I mean, it is very clear from the name itself. We are trying to diagnose the reason. Both of these are past. This already happened, and we are trying to find what actually happened and why did this happen. Right? We are doing this through data, and we can use tools like Power BI, Excel, all of those. Then this is where machine learning also comes into picture. Predictive analytics. We're trying to predict something. We are trying to through linear regression. I've already taught you everything, right? We've gone through all the machine learning models here. So through linear regression, you can predict something. Then, yeah, I mean, we've covered this in great detail. I think you can relate to this. We are trying to predict something. What will be the weather tomorrow? What will be the, I mean, what is the population in Mumbai right now, and what is the population expected to be in the next 5 years? How much is it expected to grow? So that is future. We are talking about the future there. So we are talking about predictive analytics. Then prescriptive analytics is when we are trying to make something happen, right? We are trying to suggest something to someone. We are prescribing something. So how can we make it happen? This is future. This is also future. So both of these are past, and both of these are something that we want to happen, or we just want to see what will happen in the future. So these are the four types of analytics. Then we also have, what essentially is data analysis. We first try to manipulate the data, then we try to clean the data, and finally we visualize the data, right? So data analysis includes both data analytics and visualization. Now these are terms which people confuse a lot, but I think this slide sums it up, and you can easily understand that, okay, Power BI and all these tools are used to visualize, and analytics is used to analyze the data and create basic reports. So when we talk about data analysis, these are the three tasks that we do. And I'll be moving to R programming from the next session. I think I'll just touch upon the basics there also. I just need half a session or one session for that. So we have various libraries in R, right? Like the deployer library. This is dplyr library, and the ggplot2 library. Now these are libraries just like Python. We have libraries in R also. And for manipulation, we can have this library, and we have functions like right join, left join. These we saw in SQL also, right? Full outer join, inner join, all of those. So this is used for manipulating. I'm sure some of you would remember what was right join, left join. We're trying to join two tables together here. And then for cleaning the data, you can use functions within the dplyr library. We can use functions like filter, select, arrange, mutate. And then for visualization, we can use ggplot, we can use geometric point, geom line. I mean, this is geometric point, geometric line. This is used to make a line chart, I think, and this is used to make a scatter chart probably. So that is, these are very useful functions in R. And as far as I have heard from some people in JP Morgan, JP Morgan is is a finance firm basically. It is a worldwide, it is a huge firm, and they use R very rigorously. So the quantitative analysts at JP Morgan use use R for their quantitative analysis of data. So that is where R also is important. So we'll move to R in the next session. And I've already covered behavioral questions with you. I'll be sharing the PDFs, both of the PDFs with you. So you can go through them at your own pace. I'll share more PDFs for data science interview questions. Any questions till now?